Hi guys, how you doing? Tony Goffredi here. Just want to show you how to do a couple chord transitions and make them a little bit easier than what you might be used to. So we're going to focus on a couple open chords, G, D, and C today, but we're going to take a look at a couple different ways that they're played. So for example, some people like to play a C like this, some people like to play a C add 9 instead, a C like this. Some people like to play a G chord this way, whereas some people prefer to play a chord this way. We're going to talk about a couple reasons why you should play a chord one way or another, and a couple reasons why it's a good idea to play one chord maybe in specific instances instead of all the time. You know, maybe we're going to play this chord most of the time and then play the other variation of the chord other times, and why we would do that. So let's take a look really quick here at our first chord transition. Let's take a look at G to C. So if you play a G chord like this, or like this, or like this, then that's totally fine. But when we go to our C chord, you're going to notice, watch my left hand, that my fingers have to do so much movement to get to that C chord. I got to move so many fingers up and down. For me, I've been playing for about 14 years, a little over 14 years now. That doesn't really bother me because my muscle memory is just kind of like, cool, C chord, we can get there. But if you're struggling with that, if you're not getting that chord immediately and getting that nice clean sound, let's say you're muting a couple strings, or maybe you're getting these two fingers on and you're not getting your pointer finger on, you're in that C major 7, then you get to that C, then I want to suggest something for you to try. So what I would do is, if you're going to be going to a C chord from a G chord, I would suggest trying this old school G chord way. So this is our ring finger here on 3rd fret of 6th string, our middle finger on 2nd fret of 5th string, and our pinky finger on 3rd fret of 1st string. A very, very similar voicing. The only thing it doesn't have this D right here. And instead it has a B in it. So it's just trading a 3rd for a 5th, or a 5th for a 3rd. Don't worry about that though. So with this G chord, now check out this. Check out these two fingers right here. When I go to a C chord, all they have to do is move down one string each. The pinky comes off and the pointer finger comes down. That's nice and easy. Let's take a look at that again. If I'm playing this, all I have to do with my left hand is just move my 3rd and 2nd fingers down one string, take the pinky off, and then plant that pointer finger. So if you're going to play a G to a C and you want a little bit of a simpler transition, that might be the solution for you. Same thing when you're going from C to G. It's also so much easier to go from C to the old school G, because all we have to do now is just bring our two fingers up, take the pointer finger off, plant the pinky. Then it would be to go from C to this G, because now we have to bring these two fingers, are going to go all the way down. This finger is going to come up, this finger is going to come up. It's just a lot of work. But again, it's totally up to your preference. I'm just trying to give you tips on being a little bit more efficient. So definitely give that a shot between your C and your G. At the same time, we can also do a C add 9. So if we're playing a G this way, and we like this G, then if we have to go to a C chord, maybe we want to play the variation of our C add 9. So maybe instead of going like this, maybe all we're going to do is just take these two fingers and drop them each a string, play 5 strings for a C add 9. Wow, that's such a nice chord. So that's a lot easier too when we're doing that transition. So think about that. The only thing is, you might not like the add 9 voicing. You know, you might not like that, the way that chord sounds versus just a normal C chord. It's totally up to you. You get to do whatever you want to. I'm not here to tell you which chord sounds better, because I use them both. It just depends on the situation for me. It depends on how I want it to sound, and sometimes it also depends on what's the next chord. What do I have to transition to? What's going to be the easiest transition? Cool. Let's take a look at one more transition. Let's focus on G to D. So if you do this G chord, which I'm guessing a lot of you probably do, because I think a lot of people teach this as the first G chord, which I don't think should be taught first. But anyway, that's the way that I learned, I guess. If you're playing this G chord, when you go to a D chord, I just want you to really notice and make sure that you know that this ring finger is going to be in the same spot when we hit that D chord too. So what I would encourage you to try is doing this G chord to a D chord without lifting the ring finger. Because if you lift the ring finger off and then you put it right back in the same spot, that's a waste of work, that's a waste of energy. That's not being very efficient. So we want to try to be as efficient as possible as a guitar player. So give that a shot. I call it my pivot finger because I can kind of pivot on that. So it's like in AC/DC's what's the name of that song? Shook Me All Night Long. It's like, and then a lot of G's back and forth to D's. So that's the way that I do that. And again, I didn't even lift off that ring finger that whole entire time. Not even doing the C add 9. Watch my ring finger. So my ring finger never moves. So I call that a pivot finger. If you play the old school G style, not a big deal. When you're going to a D chord, I just want you to notice these two fingers are going to stay in the same pattern. So our third and second fingers are going to be in the same relative location to each other. We're just going to pick them up, move them all the way down to the first and second string, and then plant that pointer finger. So that'll be a lot more efficient too, versus playing like this and then just taking all of our fingers kind of out of a pattern and then going back into the D. So watch these two fingers up here as I move to the D chord. I'm gonna do it slowly here. I'm just bringing them down in the same shape, have them plant on those strings, and then put that first finger down and hit that D chord. Same pattern, just straight down and go. So give that a shot. Same thing when you're going back from a D to a G. Try to keep these fingers in the same pattern. Just move them up to the 6th and the 5th string. So there's a lot of small nitpicky stuff that you can kind of learn about, and sometimes it takes somebody who has a lot more experience than you to kind of show you stuff. Sometimes it might seem obvious. You might go, oh, duh, of course I should have seen that. But lots of times our hands are used to working with the muscle memory that we already have. So hopefully, I'm actually going to be posting a lot more videos of just like this tiny little nitpicky stuff of just things that you might not have considered. So if you guys like this video, please feel free to catch all my other ones. Comment below what other stuff you might have slight problems with, what adjusting you might need, and we're going to go over a bunch of stuff in the future. So anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm really excited to be active on my YouTube channel. If you can, please give me a like, give me a subscribe. That would really help me out. And also, you're just going to be alerted when there's really great guitar content coming out. So thank you guys so much, and I'll talk to you soon.